Ayan, activate ko lang ulit. So, sige. So hopefully after this afternoon, for those of you who have turned off or kumbaga are not very active on your Facebook or your Instagram in particular, ay ma-activate ulit tayo, no? Gamitin natin talaga to the fullest potential yung ating mga social media and our apps, our social media presence. So why are we going to talk about social media prospecting this afternoon? First of all, allow us to show you why this is so important for us. Well, so first of all, this is how the Philippines looks like in terms of being connected to the internet, being connected to the cloud, or being a netizen, di ba? A netizen. So, di ba, as of January 2022, which is basically just last month, the total population of the Philippines is 111.8 million Filipinos. Urbanization means 48%. Ibig sabihin, 48 or nearly half of our citizenry ay in urbanized locations, may in cities or kumbaga first class municipalities maybe, or they have kumbaga in my case ang sinasabi ko nga or urbanized na ang isang locality kung may Jollibee. So yan, 48% of these 111.8 million Filipinos are in urbanized localities. But what's glaring here is the next na number. Of the 111.8, there are 156.5 million mobile connections. Ibig sabihin, yung sa 111.8 na yan, meron dyan naman doble pa ng mobile providers. Maybe they are with Smart and then Globe, and then dito, di ba, Converge, kumbaga kung sa sa ISP. So there are almost everyone. It can be assumed that every Filipino has a means to connect to the internet. Ayan. And then, of course, internet users of all of the 111.8 million, the 111 million, 76 million have used or are using the internet. Yan, prepaid and postpaid, pwede rin yung 156 million, may prepaid na may postpaid pa. 76.8 million or 68% of the total population is able to connect to the internet. So kung hindi man yan via data, pwedeng bumibisita sila ng internet cafe. And of the 111, 92 million Filipinos are connected, and not just connected, they are also active social media users. So which is basically 82.4% of the population. So what does that mean for us na nasa insurance industry or are here to offer something, a product or a service? Ibig sabihin, we don't really have to go far. All we need is an internet connection, and we will be able to have access to 92.05 million Filipinos. And of course, tayo dyan kasama. And as of the latest na numbers, ang insurance reaches around 4% pa din. So di ba, that gives us a wide and a large audience of potential prospects who we can talk about life insurance and financial planning with. So our country is a hyper-connected country, and almost everyone of us is in social media. That's why if you don't have a social media account yet, we hope, mga kapatid, na after this afternoon, you will open your own Facebook account or IG account, or maybe start up, kung meron ka ng Facebook, kung meron ka ng IG, start a page or start an IG account exclusive for your selling. Diane. So Diane is here. Welcome, Diane. So let me just quickly run through this. So ayan, so we're all connected. Almost all Filipinos are connected. But of course, this 82.4%, sabi nga natin, if you remember our mana last prospecting, di ba? Our target market or our potential prospects must have money. They also have a need for it. They have the authority to make a decision, and of course, we need access to them. And 92 million Filipinos we can have access to, and all we need to have is a Facebook account or an IG account. Yan. So at least, di ba, yung access na, and if they have an FB or an IG, ibig sabihin, they have money for internet or data. So ang kailangan nilang authority and need. And of course, everyone needs life insurance. Everyone needs to be financially literate. Sabi nga sa TikTok ni Argel na napanood ko lang kanina. Everybody. All right, sige. So next. Why are people of the 92 million Filipinos who are are using social media, bakit ba nila ginagamit or ginagawa ito? Bakit, para saan nila ginagamit ang social media? So number one, the top reason is which comprises almost half of the total population of internet users, is to keep in touch with friends and family. And this is also important to us kasi syempre, insurance and financial planning is all about love, it's all about relationships, it's all about friends and family as well. So, and friends and family will eventually, these are the people that we also need to talk to. Diba? 36.3% says it's their way of using it to fill spare time. Ibig sabihin, a third of the population is always on social media pag wala silang magawa. So, di ba, basically, a third of the population is always on. Ayan. Reading news stories, finding content, seeing what's being talked about, finding inspiration for things to do and buy. Ayan, this is what's important to us. That's, ayan, a third of the population uses social media for ayan, finding products to purchase. And basically also kung ano yung they want to engage with service providers through social media as well. Watching live streams and yan, seeing content from your favorite brands, these are going to be all essential to us as we show you then as we move forward. So, ayan. Pero we are basically on the top 10 of the reasons why we use social media. And I feel naman din that all of you can relate because all of us here are also social media consumers. Ayan. And this is also what's glaring about the data. Hindi lang tayo hyper connected na country. We are also really we are the largest consumers of the internet through social media. Of all the countries in the world, half or 51.4% of the Philippine internet users are using social media to follow influencers. So maybe you're following Alex Gonzaga, or DJ's YouTube channel, of course our very own Starbright Financial Advisors channel, or our groups also, diba? So we use social media to follow influencers. So, and one way to be an influencer, if you are followed by at least one person, ibig sabihin you are an influencer. So what we want to do is to take advantage of this population na who are looking for people that they can follow and that they can gain inspiration from or gain knowledge from, and use that to our advantage through FB and IG to connect with these people. So, di ba? Nasa nature na ng Pilipino to do this. That's more than half than the worldwide average of 22%. Diba? So it's already part of our culture. Aside from that, Philippines pa din #1 in watching vlogs. So as I mentioned kanina, sila Alex, our very own si Will Dasovich, of course, one of our endorsers. All of these people utilize the social media platforms aside from Facebook, of course, in IG, you have YouTube, we now have TikTok, and all of these people have their own vlogs, and tayo talaga 60% of the population are consumers of these information or these content that can provide information or education or sources of inspiration. Yan. And of course, top types of websites visited and apps used. #1 pa din, of course, chat and messaging, which is essential to us also. There's Messenger, there's Viber, there's Telegram, and ang dami na, may mga hindi na ako nakafollow na nagagamit na ibang apps. But 95.6% we use these kinds of apps, chat and messaging, which is closely connected to social networks because 95.2% of the top websites visited and apps used are all social networks. So that's Facebook, that's IG, or Meta. Meta, we have LinkedIn, one of the more popular apps and websites. Pinterest is apparently a social networking social network app. Ayan, so we use the top 2 reasons aside, hindi na nga searching eh. We use talaga apps that allow us to connect to people. And connecting to people is what's going to be essential. Now, some numbers lang then for Facebook, and then later we'll show you something about IG. On Facebook, even if it's one of the top for this year, ito yung post engagement. Ibig sabihin, ilan ba ang nakakita ng post ninyo or ng post natin? Of our posts and the total number of Facebook users, any kind of post type that's 0.07. Parang ang liit, no? But imagine 0.07 is still for 111 million. That's still about 700, tama? 1% is 1. So that's 0.07. So mga 700,000. If my math is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ayan. If it's a photo, mas na-engage yung mga tao. If it's a video, it's 0.08%. If it's used via FB. If it's a link that we share, 0.03. And if it's a status post from us, 0.13. Ibig sabihin, let's look at the photo engagement and the status post engagement. So these are the top 2 na mataas. Of course, followed of course by video posts. Ibig sabihin, if people care what you post, especially kung anong status, kung anong nangyayari sa buhay natin, di ba? That's why people follow influencers and people watch vlogs because they want to know what's happening with our lives. That's why audience engagement is 0.13% for status posts. And then, of course, pag nag-post tayo ng photo, 0.11%. So what does this mean? Every time we post a status and we share a photo dun sa status na yun, more people get to view it, which is actually perfect if we are able to use the Content Hub properly and use those posts to share in our Facebook. Not just in our own Facebook, not just on our page, but yung ating personal na Facebook post. So, di ba, the potential of people seeing what we are posting is 0.13%. Of course, di ba, may mga algorithms in yan. Usually makakita niyan are those who are engaging with us on a day-to-day or kumbaga on a regular basis. So maybe later we can also learn from Dianne how we can kumbaga increase yung engagement na yon, because there are actually tips and tricks on how to improve our engagement sa Facebook and IG. Siguro I'll add to what Dianne will be sharing na lang later on. Okay. Another thing for Facebook, and here's something that we might want to consider as well. Personally, I haven't considered it yet, but when I looked at these numbers, parang dapat pala yata we expand na din to Facebook Marketplace. So, di ba, the Facebook Marketplace is basically where people buy and sell things. But personally, I've already bought yung bed namin na mag-asawa galing yun sa Facebook Marketplace. I found someone selling their queen size bed secondhand, so I bought that. I search for bike parts or office. I search for office chairs in Facebook Marketplace, and di ba? Aside from that, I also look for look for gadgets, phones, for example. And I prefer Facebook Marketplace because I also want, pag nakikita ko na may connection kami nung seller, yung referability niya, or kumbaga I can ask someone if okay ba tong taong to na nabilhan. That's why I prefer Facebook Marketplace. But of course, there's other apps like Carousel, etc. But what I would like for us to focus on this afternoon is this. Potentially, there are 562.1 million people using Facebook Marketplace like I do, na doon ako naghahanap ng products and services. And what I would like to actually do now, ngayon ko lang din naisip, hindi ko pa na-try mag-search ng life insurance through Facebook Marketplace. So largely, this is, for me, an untapped market or an untapped avenue. So why not use Facebook Marketplace so that we will be able to reach out to more people? And then, because that's 562.1 million according to Meta, their data, yung kanilang reach. If we advertise there, 26.6% of our ads on Facebook will show up in Marketplace. So if you're boosting your posts, nakita din doon. And 9.1% are age 13 and above. Nung mga tumitingin, ibig sabihin, these are clearly our market. They can make decisions. They have the authority to make decisions. And ito yung nakita. So if you want to target men, apparently there are more male users looking through Facebook. So siguro isa na ako dito sa statistics na to. And 44.9% of them are women. So for those of you who would like to tailor fit or kumbaga focus your market on men, you can which are typically, these are the breadwinners of the family. You can use Facebook Marketplace as an avenue. And then, ayan, next is Instagram. Instagram naman has a higher reach. So that's why we also would like for us to learn more about this platform. Compared to Facebook na hindi pa nakaka 1%. Instagram, because maybe of its way of engaging us through photos or visually, ayan, 1.94% of posts are engaged. 1.94% of all posts are engaged in. 1.18% pag yung mga photo posts lang. And then pag video, this is something different. So nag-introduce ang Instagram ng Reels this year. I think this is to compete with TikTok. So the engagement is higher than just the photo, which is 1.50%. But if it's a carousel of photos, yung mga multiple photos, it's 3.15%. So again, people are looking for that. People are looking for that way to be able to see kung ano bang nangyayari sa buhay natin. So we can take advantage of this as well by posting more on IG. Ayan. And another feature of IG is the Instagram stories, diba? Yung mga nawawala within 24 hours. And what's nice about this is like the Facebook Marketplace or Facebook stories is that diba, there is higher engagement. 72.6%. If we are on IG stories, mas malaki yung chance na makita tayo ng mga tao. And there are even more 13 and above people viewing those. And of course, ito naman yung kakaiba. If you want to engage female customers or female clients, prospects, the platform to use naman is IG, since 51.1% of the engagement comes from the women and 48.9% comes from the men. Yeah, and just would like to share some of the most used Instagram hashtags. Of course, hashtag love is still number 1 with 2.1 million, and the list goes down from that. And sabi natin, di ba, it's February, Feb-ibig, insurance is love, so we can use that as a hashtag for the post that we have for insurance. And my last slide before I hand over the Zoom floor to our speaker for this afternoon. We would like for all of us in Starbright to start utilizing our social media platforms, particularly this afternoon, Facebook and Instagram, because people are now using social media as a means to research and look for brands that they can trust and that they can engage in. Any social media platform, 76.1 kaagad of the population use it to look for brands. Social networks, yeah, 43.5% are engaging in social media platforms like Facebook and IG to look for brands and to read reviews. 21.5% lang yung Q&A sites like Quora. 17.2 are in the message boards or yung mga forums, diba? Messaging and live chat services, 16.4%. Microblogs like Twitter, 16%. Vlogs, 14.7%. So yung mga nasa YouTube, and online pinboards like Pinterest, 10.8%. So this tells us that if we are able to use our FB and IG properly, we have a large chunk of the population looking for products and services through the social media networks. So if we are able to tap that, just like our speaker for this afternoon, we will be able to increase pa, put more names in our CMS para naman makasama tayo dun sa 100 points every week dun sa raffle. Yan. So long story short, what we want to say is that FB, IG, very important. LinkedIn, all your other social media apps and networks, very important to our job. Because essentially, kahit naman din yung mga kinokontak natin na family and friends, we use social media to connect to them. And of course, it's a means to also for them to find out who we are, and for us to also find out who they are. So kumbaga may KYC na kaagad. So ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, we have invited someone to talk about her own social media journey in terms of using Facebook and IG in getting prospects, in presenting, and being able to consistently be at the top of the presentation raffle contest of our groups, diba? So this afternoon, let's all welcome our special guest speaker for our Starbright Academy. So this is a first for us. Meron tayong guest presenter, kumbaga best practice sharer. Let's all welcome your very own and from North Star and Neil's team. Let's all welcome Dianne Lagmay. Palakpakan naman natin si Dianne.
Hello guys. Hello. So okay, I'm in a coffee shop, so full disclaimer. So let me know kung nasisira yung connection para I can at least transfer or shift. Okay, so What are your expectations, Copy Tita? Hi, Mama Tells. So, can I get first what are your expectations with my sharing in terms of social media for today? So, when I say what are your expectations, ano yung mga pain points nyo na na-encounter in terms of social media sa war market nyo? Can you put it in the chat box? Or feel free to unmute also. Let's make this as conversational as possible since we're just 21 in the room. Work from coffee shop na ulit. That's true. So, okay. Sige, ano yung mga challenges nyo when it comes to social media? Give. How to be on social media? Where to start? Okay. Sige, may question ako sa inyo. Have you experienced this? Hindi ko po alam ang ipopost. Have you experienced this? Meron ba kayong mga warm market na kailangan nyo ulit i-reheat? Or yung dati yung classmate ng grade school or ng high school na hindi nyo na nakakausap for a very long time and you wanna tap them again. Generation gap. Di ganun ba? Yung type in Y, kung meron kayong ganong case or scenario, natagal nyo na sila hindi nakakausap. Jeremy, yes. Yes, elementary classmates. Sabi ni Red. Yes din. Sabi nga po siya. Sir DJ, yes. Ako gustong makita yung classmates ko ng prep. So, Richard since prep. Okay, sige, what else? How about the others? So, 21 tayo dito sa room. Actually, 20 nga eh. Sa room. Do you guys have the same predicament also? Okay. So sige, hindi ko na pala tagalin. So, I'll share muna in theory kung ano yung ginagawa ko. And just a disclaimer or just to set the expectation. So, this is for the warm market. So, when we say warm market, these are your Facebook friends, those who are already following you. So, these are also your Instagram followers. For me, Instagram yung main social media platform ko eh. But I'll share first a theory and then I'll share how I was able to close sales via social media with my warm market last year. And paano ko na-reheat yung mga previously hindi ko nakakausap or hindi ko nakakausap for a very long time. Okay? So, this will be very quick. I promise you. And so, here. Okay. I can see your... Hindi ko naman makikita ko yung mga chat mo. Okay. So, rule of thumb, when you go to the social media, to your social media, and you intend to use that for prospecting or to close clients. So the first is understand who are your dream clients. Kailangan nyo muna kung sino yung gusto nyo itap. So, parang di ba, mention nga, everyone can be a prospect, pero konti lang yung suspect, right? So, here are my suspects. So, may different people that you can see on social media. So, for the people that I see on my social media, usually they're categorized in these 4 categories. So, nandito si Peter, si Lisa, si Tom, and si Tina. So, si Peter, siya yung, kung imagine niyo nung college, siya yung well-respected na class leader niyo. Tapos siya siguro yung manager na napopromote every single year. O yung employee of the year. O yung grabe mag-OT. Ganyan, siya siguro yun. Siya si Peter. And then, I have another profile. Siya naman si Lisa. Lisa would be your vegan plant mom na into sustainable fashion. So, nire-reject niya yung mga Shein, ganyan. So, she doesn't want like Zalora. She supports like thrift shopping. Ganyan. So, may ganyan profile. Ako na nakita. And then I can also attest that there's a Tom in my circle. So, si Tom naman, siya yung mahilig mag-coffee shop hopping. So, from Makati to BGC coffee shops, all the way to Antipolo. Ayan, nandun siya. Tapos aesthetic yung gusto niya. And meron siyang Apple multiverse. So, anything Apple talaga. Like, probably yung MacBook Air, may release pa lang. So, titingnan niya yun. Tapos siguro naka-Apple Pro Max siya na 13. So, yun yung iPhone niya. Ganon. Tapos yung si Tina naman, si influencer. So, siya yung IG-worthy posts lagi. Tapos, meron siyang mahilig siya sa upscale restaurants. So, ito yung 4 categories na nakita ko. So, that's my dream clients. How about you? Who are your dream clients? Yeah. You can write. kung meron kayo dyan piece of paper, or pwede nyo i-browse yung Facebook nyo, sa mga Facebook friends nyo, or kaya naman sa Instagram, kung ano yung mag-resonate na profile nila. Yan. Tapos, halamams. Yes. And then, you have your, ayan, so dream clients. So the clearer it is, the easier you attract them. Just like any goal, you have to have a clear goal. Kasi the clearer the goal is, alam mo, paano makapunta doon sa may goal mo. So, since these are your dream clients, syempre, mas clear sa'yo who they are or where they are. It's easier to find your way to these people or attract them. So, yun. First thing to consider is who are they talaga? Like in terms of demographics. So yung socioeconomic class. Tapos yung career nila. So majority ba are business owners, majority are professionals, or majority employees, diba? Tapos yung age nila. So ano ba yung age range nila? Are these like 25 to 30 people? Or are these people na nasa may 40s na sila, so medyo mas established in terms of their career or in their business? Or are these fresh graduates, diba? So, for these naman, for knowing who naman yung dream clients, it's just like branding. It doesn't mean na nakikipag-usap ka lang or sila lang yung pwede mong market. It just means na lahat ng pinuput out mo na content is actually talking to these people. And the more that they feel like you're talking to them, the more that they'll be attuned to what you're doing. So, yung next na kailangan dito tanong is where do they hang out? Like, ano ba yung location? Saan ba sila ano ba lifestyle nila? Do they do coffee shops? Like, are they into Pilates? Yoga people ba sila? Ganyan. Kasi, di ba, it's just like, in school. So, the easiest time to make friends was when we were in school. Kasi we often go to the same place. So, parang ganun din, di ba? Kung sino nakikita mo lagi sa Facebook or sino nakikita mo sa Instagram. So, sila yung naging friends mo. Right? Kasi, you're very attuned to their lives, ganun. So, where do they hang out? Tapos, what are they into? So, yung hobbies nila, yung hobbies nila, usually, di ba, yung circle of friends mo, it becomes a circle of friends to you because you both or you guys are into something that you're all interested in, right? And then, who are their peers? So, yung peers nila, makikita mo kasi doon kung ang ginagawa ko kasi, if I haven't talked to one person for a very long time, pero nakita ko na yung friend niya is actually a close friend of mine, agawin ko, yun yung dadaanan ko. So parang, oo nga I've heard from this na you're into this na. Kunwari, I've heard, kunwari si Red, yung close friend ko. Tapos si DJ, yung tinatry ko na itap. So, minsan nag-react ako sa stories ni DJ. Tapos sabihin ko na, I heard from Red na you're here na pala. Ganyan. So, parang yun yung common factor namin. Yan. Kasi you tend to trust people more if you have a lot more things in common. So, especially if you have a common friend, di ba? Kasi the best kind of, or the highest form of marketing nga daw is via word of mouth. Di ba? Kasi yun yung pinakakatiwalaan nila. It's coming from a trustworthy person. Right? So, these are the different channels. So, yung pagpo-post ko, it depends on, kapag na-identify ko na kung sino yung gusto kong market, yung channel, yung sumusunod, so saan ba ako mas madalas mag-post? Saan ba ako mas madalas mag-hangout? Diba? Would it be in Facebook? Would it be in Instagram? Or would it be in LinkedIn? Right? So, iba-iba yung tone of what you want to position per channel. So, if it's gonna be on Facebook, kapag magpo-post kayo sa Facebook, pansinin nyo to. Yung Facebook daw is the modern day living room. So when the way that you post in Facebook is the way that you're gonna sit in a living room and talk about things with your family. Naalala niyo yung kapag nasa living room kayo, tapos kapag may family gathering, tapos yung tita mo, yung mom mo, yung dad mo, sinasabi sa'yo na, tignan mo si Red. For example, tignan mo si Red, ano na siya, UP na siya, or kaya naman, ito yung mga awards niya, galing-galing na bata. No? Right? So, kapag may awards ako, I post it usually in Facebook. Tapos the way I also, yung tone din, yung caption that I use, siya, very, feeling ko kapag binasa yun ng tita ko, maging proud siya sa akin. Ganon. Ganon yung way that I post. Tapos kapag Instagram naman, Instagram is the new magazine. So, di ba kapag magazine, when you talk about a magazine, it's glamorous, it's glossed over. Diba? Tapos parang everything that's aspirational in terms of lifestyle, it's there, di ba? So, yung nangyayari sa Instagram, everything that I feel like na nangyayari sa boyfriend na something cool. So, for example, kahit kumuha lang ako ng kape, pero like, put it in your bed and then take an aesthetic photo. Feeling ko, that's something that can make the Instagram stories or feed, ganyan. Tapos, yung mga people nag-react to it. So, ano siya, kapag pupunta ka sa Instagram, it's because a lot of your dream clients or in the millennials or Gen Z or some Gen X nandun. Kasi, na-mention ko yun ni Red, di ba? Na mas mataas yung affinity natin with photos. Right? So, so Instagram, yung modern day party. Diba? So, kapag nasa may party ka, ano ba tinatanong mo? Hi, do you go here often? Or are you really here often? Or what are you doing here? Who do you know? Ganyan, ganyan. So, kasi nakikita mo rin, di ba? Kasi yung pina-follow nyo. Yun. So, modern day party. Tapos, sa LinkedIn naman, is the modern day conference. When we say modern day conference, ito yung tipong, I am pleased to share with you that I hit or that I'm celebrating my first anniversary with my company today. Ganun. So, alam mo yun, parang yung tone mo, it's like you're in a professional networking site. Right? Parang may job fair, parang ganon. Or kaya naman may conference na nangyayari. So, kasi nandito present yung professional, actually same market lang sila ng Instagram. Same market din sila ng Facebook. Pero, you have a different personality, right? For example, yung office personality mo, hindi naman yung the same dun sa may home personality mo. So, kapag pupunta ka ng LinkedIn, dadalhin mo yung office personality mo. Ganun siya. So, same market din siya sa party, siya sa living room goers. Pero, ito yung professional persona nila. Right? So, okay. Sa usual sales funnel, tatlo lang naman yan. So sa usual sales funnel, ang nangyayari, we attract customers. So ito yung what do you call this? Basta awareness. So awareness yung first, diba? Tapos the second would be engagement. Right? So it's when you keep them warm already kasi meron ng awareness kung sino ka at kung anong ginagawa mo. And then the third is conversion. So meron din social media sales funnel for that. So yung newsfeed mo, that's for attraction. So when people go to your newsfeed, that's when they know who you are. Right? Tsaka ikaw rin, pag pumunta ka sa newsfeed nila, kahit sa Facebook nila, kapag browse mo yung timeline nila, it will tell you what kind of people they are, ano yung political beliefs nila, what are they into, ano yung hobbies nila, gano'n. So, para mong resume yung newsfeed. Right? Tapos sa stories naman, this is where engagement happens. So, napapansin nyo na marami kayong friends sa Instagram or sa Facebook, pero hindi nyo sila nakakausap lahat. For some of them, it's been a while since you talk to them. Tapos kapag nag-react ka sa stories nila, biglang nasa radar ka ulit nila. Right? So that's your opportunity to reconnect with them. So siguro give it a few weeks or a few days na nag-react ka until, pag-reply ka, actual response talaga. Or, oh girl, what's this? Or where is this? This looks yummy, ganyan. So, you also build authentic relationship with the client or with your friends. Kasi basically, your client are your friends. So, that way, you become interested in their lives. And in turn, di ba reciprocity, law of reciprocity. So, if you become interested in their lives, may interested din sila sa'yo. No, ano na kayang ginagawa ngayon ni Richard? Ganon, yung classmate niya sa prep, for example, nag-chat sa kanya. Ano kayang ginagawa niya ngayon? Si Richard, na-curious ako. Tapos nag-react siya sa story ko. Tapos tapos for inbox, inbox is where the sale happens. So, ito talaga yung conversion. Okay, may papakitaan ko kayo ng actual timeline yan. Basically, these are the theories. So, for newsfeed, attraction, it's essential or it's very important that your personality shines through your newsfeed. Kasi it tells a visual story of who you are. And people like stories. Like, they like knowing that there's another person at the end. So, they don't like very glossed over persona. Na, actually, the more that you show na. So, kapag newsfeed kasi, glossed over dapat siya. Yung kapag makikita mo siya, di ba, parang they have their lives together, right? Tapos parang ang advice, sa Instagram kasi, tsaka sa Facebook, may algorithm. So, the better quality your photos are, mas nagsushow siya on top. So, hindi lang yun. Siyempre, yung ano rin, yung affinity mo with the person. So, kapag mas nagre-react din sa person na yun, sa post up ka lagi, mas nag-show ka talaga sa newsfeed nila, sa timeline nila. Tapos, use original content. Kahit sabihin mo na pare-pareho lang naman yung itsura ng coffee shops. Pero, syempre, it's your story eh. It's your feed. Diba? Baka ma-flag ka rin kasi kapag ginamit mo yung pictures ng ibang tao. And you don't want that to happen. Kasi integrity, diba? So, sa stories or sa Facebook, it's called My Day. So, this is where, di ba, glossed over yung news feed. So, ngayon, sa stories or sa My Day, they would see an actual person behind the news feed. So, when you take a story, the main purpose is you go to social media, not for validation, but for education. If you go to social media for validation, girl, baka may mali sa'yo. Like, baka meron kang kailangan i-address internally. Kasi validation talaga, you can't get through validation from social media. Yun. So, ngayon, when I say you go there for education, not for validation, usually, this would come in the form of, kapag nag-attend ka ng training, kaya ako attend ng training ng Starbright. So, aside from Starbright, yung mga AIA trainings also, tsaka yung mga minsan nanonood lang ako ng video sa YouTube. Tapos, pinopost ko lang kung ano yung, video ko siya, kita screenshot, tapos pinopost ko lang sa stories what I learned. Para it would feel like I'm learning with them, with the audience. So, also, it's also good if you share some of your struggles. For example, now, are you also like this in terms of your finances? What do you use in terms of tracking your apps? Ganyan. Kasi at the end of the day, they would like to know that they can relate to you. So, how would you know that you can relate to a person ba? Hindi naman lahat may wins, pero lahat may struggles, diba? So, hindi naman yung tipong air out your dirty laundry. It's just the struggles that you feel are comfortable in terms of sharing to other people in a social aspect, right? So it's also your opportunity to create engagement. So paano ba? So minsan nagpapa-poll lang ako or I ask questions. Tapos yung mga magre-respond sa mga polls or sa questions, yun yung mga i-message ko. Talaga, you use Excel, ganyan. So to create a conversation with them. Tapos sabi kasi nila, you close a sale, especially in social media, when people see two things in you. So first is credibility, the second is likability. So if they feel like you're credible, so yan mga accolades mo, mga awards mo, yan. So pinagkakatiwalaan ka nila. Pero sabi nga nila, no matter how good you are, kahit ikaw yung pinakamagaling ang pinakamatalinong tao sa mundo, if you're not likable, people are most likely not gonna buy from you. They're gonna look for an agent also in the same company, and they're gonna buy from that person. Yan. Because you're not gonna create trust just by showing that you're credible. Pero at the same time naman, if likable ka pero wala ka namang credibility, mahirap na ibigay yung trust, di ba? Kasi especially now, na yung generation natin is the information generation or data generation. Kasi everything today is at hand. So, Google mo na lang, di ba? So, yan. Finally, the inbox is the place where the sale happens. So, it brings you to their radar. Syempre, dito ka na mag-build ng rapport. And ang ultimate goal is to set an appointment with them. So, either face-to-face or via Zoom. Okay. So, ready na ba kayo to see the actual? Please na pwede magbida. Yes. Yes. Okay. Sige. Oh my God. Ayan. Oh my God, guys, si Red lang ba siya si Jeremy natuwad? So, naka-help ba? so, ayan. I would like to know if naka-help kasi I was asked to share to help out in terms of the war market. So, I'd like to know also if it's really helping out and it's addressing your pain points. And so, ayan. Okay. So, now, I'm gonna share with you an actual, okay. The actual, yun nakita nyo kaya sales funnel. Okay. So, eto siya. Oh my God, ready na pa ako. Ako pa hindi ready. So, and so, eto yung papakita ko yung actual Instagram ko. Pwede naman mag-i-follow. so, Eh, okay, ito yung Instagram profile ko. There. Okay. So if you see the Instagram profile, for example, di tayo friends, or hindi tayo magkakilala, ano yung naiisip nyo? Type in the chat box. Like, can you give adjectives? Like, various adjectives? Sino yung taong to? Grabe shala, okay? Yan yung target natin, si Argel. Okay, so, okay, ano pa? Passion, okay? Hindi kumain. True? Okay. 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 Sige. So, naalala nyo kanina, yung apat na criteria ko, si Peter, na manager, class middle nyo. Tapos, meron din si Lisa, sa Million Premium Foodie. And si Lisa, sustainability, di ba? Si vegan. Tapos, meron din si, yung isa pa, yung coffee enthusiast, na coffee shop hopping. Tapos, meron din yung isa, si influencer. Lagi niya sa may upscale restos. So, yung mga kinds of customer, yung dream client ko, I embodied them. So, yun yung pinakita ko. Hindi man sobra-sobra, di ba? Pero yun yung pinakita ko dun sa may news feed. Okay, so bigyan ko kayo ng example. Di ba si Peter na class middle? So, ito yun. Ayan. So, million premium club. Para makita nila na awardan. Ganyan. Tapos, nag-ano rin ako ng highlights sa mga awards. It builds credibility. Right? Ayan. So, may mga hearts pa dyan. So, it builds credibility. Tapos, ayan. So, RFP din. Kapag may mga natututunan ako, pinapost ko lang dyan. Tapos, hindi di ba si vegan, sustainable, na dream client ko din. So, I started cooking my own food. So, syempre, kasama din dito sa my feed, yung authenticity. Kasi kapag hindi authentic, na aamoy nila yun. So, you post what you want to attract. Parang love lang yan, guys. So, so you become who you want to attract, diba? So, yun, I started cooking my own food. Tapos, yan. Tapos si third is the coffee shop enthusiast. Ayan. So, pare-pareho lang naman ang itsura ng coffee shop na yan. Pero, I use my own photo pa rin. Tapos, yung isa, si influencer, mga upscale restos, di ba? May upscale resto ba ako dito? Ayan, kunwari yan. Well, ayan. So, di ba, parang na-attract mo who you want to be and who you are. Okay, so in terms naman of engagement, ayan. So yung, di ba, word of mouth is one of the best ways to market yourself. So may time na, lumabas ako with my clients. Tapos, in-schedule ko na siya ng isang araw or 2 araw. Tapos, sinulit ko siya. So lumabas ako with a lot of them. Tapos, nag-post ako. Right? So, ngayon, it's been a year. Sabi ko, it's been a year of meeting a lot of new friends, ganyan. Community of financially free titos and titas of Rockwell. Tapos may nagsabi, goal ko maging part ng post ng tita-tito community na to. E nililigawan ko na client. Oh my God, huwag mo i-endorse. Huwag mo i-promote. So, sabi niya na goal ko maging part ng tita-tita community. Tandaan niyo yung name. Okay. So, that's my foot in the door na yun. Siya na yung may gusto. Napagkita, client yan. So, anong ginawa ko? Grabe, sa South pa to. So, Marikina ako, di ba? Tapos, pumunta ako ng South para sa kanya. Tapos yun, financial planning siya. Tapos, ayan. So, di ba sabi nila, kapag may nag-introduce sa'yo, kapag in-endorse ka, sabihin mo dun sa may i-update nyo yung nag-endorse, kung kumusta na yung endorse niya. So, ginamit ko lang yun dito. So, yung nakatag, siya yung nag-endorse sa amin. Thanks for introducing us. Ganyan. Tapos, aside from that, nakita na rin ng another person, yung Nori na to, na connected ako sa kanya. So parang, you tend to trust people that other people you trust know. Yun. So, medyo hinighlight ko lang yun. So, yun. Yun yung ginagawa ko. Tapos, yung sa engagement, when I've already established that, sa stories naman. So, yung sa stories, yung ginawa ko doon is nag-post ako ng mga client meetings. Ito actually, nagbigay ako sa kanila ng tito-tita kit, sangria, wine and cheese. Tapos, hinayaan ko sila na sila yung mag-post. Tapos, saka ko ni-repost. So, yan yung sa stories. Ayan. So, eto, yan. So, yung nag-tag sa akin, nire-story ko lang. Ayan. So, policy review with my 10 out of 10 FA. So, di ba, nakita na yun ng friends niya. Etong taong to, I think, naging COI ko rin siya. He was able to refer 2 clients to me. Tapos, yan. So, pinadalan ko sila niyan ng wine and cheese kit. Tapos sila na mismo yung nag-tag. Tapos, sobrang surprise kasi when I posted that, may nag-reply. Tapos ang sinabi niya ito. So, stories yun, di ba? So, tapos na tayo sa newsfeed niya, nasa may stories na tayo. So, may nag-reply. Ang sabi niya, ito. Ito. So, na yung nag-inquire. And this person became also a client. Ayan. Okay. So, yan. Sabi niya, Ate Eden, how does this work? This person, last time ko siya nakausap was way back in 2015. Actually, no, high school pa nga ata which is like 10 years ago. So, yan. Tapos, nag-inquire siya and then she eventually became a client. So, yeah. Tapos, ripple effect din siya. Kasi I think, eto. Di ba yung mga pinopost ko kanina? Pinost ko lang yun in one day. Tapos sabi niya, kausapin mo rin kaya ako. So, di ba, ikaw na yung nakaka-attract ng tao. Right? So, sabi ko sa niya, akala ko joke. Sabi niya, apparently totoo pala. Siya na mismo nagsabi, nakakainggan yung stories mo. Okay, tapos apparently, it was just in time pala kasi she was planning to get her second policy. So, she got 2 policies from me. So, hindi ko effective naman siya. Okay, that's when the sale happened. Tapos, syempre, nandun ka foot in the door na yun So, kapag sinabi niya yan, meet mo na agad. Yung main objective is to set an appointment. Tapos, yun, na-establish ko na yung likability. So now, how do I make sure na, okay, I'm going the right path in terms of establishing also credibility. So, may nagtanong din sa akin. Since yung mga pipost ko usually are mga finance stuff, kapag nag-attend ako ng training, so nagtanong na siya sa akin about finance. So, eto, win-work on namin on him getting another policy. So, kumuha siya ng policy last year. And then meet kami this week. He's about to get another policy also. So, ganoon. Tapos, ano ba yung mga stories that I share on Instagram? Okay. Kapag stories that I share on Instagram, yung may kapol. As in, minsan nga nag-reply doon si Otelo siya Patel. Ayan, ito. May meron kaming learning session. So, pinost ko lang siya. Ayan. So, pinost ko lang siya. BUL. Tapos, retirement planning, ganyan. Tapos, talk about retirement funding. So, yes. Nagaya ng yes. Patingin ko, okay, sige, kailan mo gusto pag-usapan? So, appointment agad. Yung mga nagsabi ng year retirement, hindi ko, wow, social. Ready ka na for retirement today. Ganyan. Tapos kapag sinabi na dami ko ng policies, dami ko ng investments, sige sabihin mo na, talaga, so kumusta naman emergency fund? Tapos kapag naman sinabi na, I don't want to talk about retirement. Bakit? Kasi hindi tayo, I don't know if we're gonna live that long. And tanongin mo na sila na, bakit? So, if you think you're not gonna live that long, ibig sabihin ba, meron ka na pang sustain sa sarili mo in the next few years. Ganun. Tapos yan din. So, ito, tapos people kasi who view your stories are most likely the people who are attuned to you. So, di ba? Ano rin sila? Madaling makita kung sino yung attuned na sa'yo. And madaling mag-rebuild ng relationships because of that. So, kasi lagi na nakikita. Lalo na kapag marami kang tao na kasama. Kasi sasabihin nila, di ba, i-share din yun. Kunwari, nasa isang photo tayo. Tapos, shinare ni Red. Yung photo ko, tapos tinag ko si Red. Shinare ni Red, may profile niya. Nakita rin ng mga common friends namin. So, sila rin sasabihin, uy, yung mga common, si Dianne, matagal ko na ito yung nakausap. Tapos na kaya siya. Tapos i-follow, ganyan-ganyan. So, mag-uusap, ganyan. So leverage on visibility also. Kaya importante din to know who they hang with. Yun. So most likely kasi who they hang with are also your dream clients. So yun, leverage on their their word of mouth. Nakasama ka nila. Ganun. So yun po, yung social media best practice ko in terms of core market.
All right. Thank you at the Dianne Lagmay for that sharing. So, pinost ko na po sa ating sa ating sa ating chat yung kanyang IG. Dianne, would you still have some time to maybe do a little Q&A? Yan. So, thank you. I-record mo na rin to para may pang stories ka na din later on. Ayan. Ayan, so mga kapatid sa Starbright, no, especially the rookies, do you have questions for Dianne, something that you'd like to clarify? If not, maybe you would like to honor Dianne for what she shared by also telling her what you learned and what you will be applying after our session this evening. Meron ba?
Sorry,
Question.
okay lang na Sorry, last piece of info. Okay lang.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay. Di ba na-mention ko kanina na the highest form of marketing is via word of mouth? May mga clients talaga na upfront. They're gonna tell you this. Yan. When you share something, they're gonna be proud to call themselves your clients. So, yan. So, syempre, kapag nakita na yun na ibang tao, like yung circle of friends nyo, for this person, she's my high school friend, it's easier to tap them na. Kasi namalabas sa feed nyo pareho eh. Plus, you would see collections. Di ba? So, yung main, kapag dumating sa ganyang point, ibig sabihin, you were able to service them professionally, you were able to give, to exemplify your credibility as an FA, and also your likability. Kasi you're not gonna endorse a brand if you don't highly believe in it. So, yun yung ultimate goal for me, is to be at that level of relationship with them and to keep on improving, to give them sensible advice financially.
Correct. Alright. Sige, thank you. Diba? Naging na siya, that's my FA. Parang saya malagay yun sa ating as a comment, diba? Or kumbaga, kahit malagay din sa timeline natin. Alright, so si Papa tells you one of your followers is raising his hand. So, go, sir.
Yes, sir. It's not a question, but I want to honor Dianne. No? Probably she wouldn't remember this, pero one of the trainings during the pandemic when Dianne wasn't an FA yet, siya ang nag-lead ng mga social media trainings. So I was there as an attendant. So nakita ko si Dianne this first time. Sabi ko, itong potential itong maging financial advisor. And then when she became the financial advisor, talagang nakita kong specialty niya yung being a social media queen. No? I want to honor you for really focusing on that niche, at the same time really applying kung ano kagad yung natutunan mo, yung napag-aralan, yung tinuro sa about RA 7641, you were already able to apply it agad-agad. So kudos to you, congratulations, the coffee tita. More power.
Thank you. More power to the coffee tita. Ayan. Thank you, Papa Tels, for honoring Dianne. Okay, our si DJ has a question, facing his hand.
Question, Dianne. Ayun, so just a study as well. Kasi you really know what you're doing. No, aral na aral siya, ang ganda. Two things. First, since when did you start studying about social media marketing? No, how long na it is na ginagawa mo ito? No, kasi I know even before being an FA, di ba, may exposure ka na. So how long? Kasi I want to know how long maging katulad mo, di ba? How to be you po, parang ganun. I want to know. Number two, who are your influences? I know Eric Fang is very evident, no, kitang-kita. So who else yung naka-influence sa'yo na you follow, you learn from? Yun.
Okay. So, thank you, Sir DJ. So, for me talaga, yung main person talaga that I get it from, Eric Fong talaga. And hindi siya overnight success also. But at the same time, hindi siya sobrang tagal na gayahin. Kasi I remember when I transitioned into being a financial advisor, one of my hesitations back then was I didn't have the markets. Kasi workaholic ako. So I've lost touch with a lot of my friends. And actually, my college barkada, 4 kami doon. 3 sa kanila nasa States na, tsaka nasa Canada. So ako na lang talaga yung dito. So in terms of the friends talaga, the close friends I have here, parang hindi ko na sila na ulit nakausap after college. Kasi it's work ka naman, taga-fill ano sila. And mostly are advisors. Kasi di ba BDM ako before. So when I transition, the first talaga that I asked myself is how to build my presence in social media in such a way na it's not gonna be corny. Or for me kasi, when you want something or when you want to endorse something or to get into something, first of all, you have to be a user. So ako mismo, before I post anything, ako talaga yung biggest consumer ko. So I consume content as much as I can. Tapos naalala ko, Eric Fong talaga yung una kong in-study. It came to a point na si Eric Fong, pinalo na niya yung common denominator. Kasi lagi ako nasa space niya at saka papansin talaga ako sa kanya. Tapos pinapollow ko as in lahat ng YouTube, lahat yun free. As in, when I started out, nanonood lang ako ng YouTube videos niya, ng Facebook videos niya. There's even that, video, how to ask someone. Tsaka, as in, case study kasi talaga siya. As in, magtatawag siya doon. May mga financial advisors pa nga eh. So, magtatawag siya doon sa audience, may invite siya. Tapos, i-ask niya ano yung challenge. Tapos, papakita niya yung Instagram. Tapos, sa aralin nila, case study talaga, right there and then, aralin nila kung ano yung mali or kung ano yung kulang doon sa Instagram page. Or how they can improve it. Ganon. In a very constructive manner. So, Eric Fong talaga. As in, through and through. And then, aside from that, I also studied the different kinds. It's kasi di ba yung mga contact ko na are financial advisors also. So, I know what they're all posting. And for example, they're all posting sa social media na, buy EIA Med Assist for just 29 pesos. Yan. It has a certain market, yes. But it's not my market at that time. Kasi nagtatapin ako ng warm market. I'm trying to reintroduce myself in the market. So, may market, aka my friends and family members. Ganyan. So, sa akin talaga, inaral ko how Eric does it. As in, kahit yung stories niya, abot ako doon. Tapos, as in, I watch it every day. The more predictable your stories are, the more that no one wants to watch it. So, kasi alam na nila kung ano yung mangyayari. Parang na-mention dati sa training na Sir Liver, na parang when you're watching a certain TV show, pare-pareho na commercial. So, mas maumay ka, tapos you're gonna shift or transition. So, the more unpredictable it is, and the more that it encapsulates you as a person. Kunwari, gusto ko pakita sa tao na, uy, active ako. Kasi people, sa psychology, people who are active, they tend to trust them more in terms of sales. Kasi if they can take care of their body daw, most likely they can take care of another person. So yun, may psychology portion to it. Ganyan. So yun yung mga inaral ko when I was starting out.
Galing. Follow-up question nga, yun, kailan ka nag-start? Yun yung,
yes.
Kasi gusto ko malaman how long before maging adept yung knowledge. Although of course, you're really following Eric every single day. So malaking bagay yun talaga sa learning.
Yeah. Sir DJ, nag-start lang ako last year. so narinig ko si Eric Fong noong 2020, di ba? Nung may DOP siya. Pero, as in, inaral ko lang sa social media niya. Tapos, in-implement ko lang. Last year lang. As in, kaka-code ko lang. So, nag-start ako ng January na aralan siya. Kasi dami ko ng time. So, paano ko may utilize yung time na yun? Aral ako. Tapos, in-implement ko. Tapos, January, February, I was booking like 15 meetings in a week. Tapos, permihan doon because of his, Eric Fong. Tapos, hindi ako nahihiya to message people nung time na yun. Kasi, kahit na bagong advisor pa lang ako, kasi, sila na yung viewers ko. Nakikita ko na sila lagi nag-view ng stories. So, parang, wala akong script na sige ginagamit. As in, sabihin ko lang na, hey, do you wanna Tapos pinapa-call ko sila, di ba? Kasi may ganun daw si Eric. Tapos yung mga nagre-respond, or do you wanna meet? Talk about ganyan. Talk about financial planning. Market research lang. Doon yung ginagawa ko yung una. Tapos yung napapa-oo ko lang sila sa market research. So yeah, January ko siya natutunan, nag-start ng matutunan, tapos in-implement ko agad. Tapos nakakuha ko ng appointments kasi yung appointment setting is still part of learning. So yung theory na tututunan ko kay Eric, yung actual action, setting things in motion, yun yung actual appointment setting. So alam ko what works and what doesn't work. So mabilis kong na-filter out what doesn't work.
I like it. I like your answer. Ganda nun. Yung kailangan i-apply pa rin. Theory is theory, no? May info overload ka kapag lang eh. Puro learning lang, no? So ikaw ina-apply mo siya pala talaga. So it's very nice. I just really want to honor you with that kasi nga dito we need to teach our advice. Nag-drive ako eh. So traffic naman. Yeah, we really need to teach our advisors how to do this. A lot of the rookie advisors probably naubusan ng prospects. So magandang maituro natin ito. And social media kasi is consistency. Application and then the theories, di ba? So tulungan mo ako sa social media club. No? Kasi you're one of the people na I saw na yun, alam mo yung structure, no? Kailangan alam mo yung I like it that you used it. You didn't use the buyer persona. Diniretso mo na kagad na dream clients. Term ni Eric Fang yun eh. So, malaking bagay na ina-apply mo siya and it works for you. I believe kasi na, lalo na the younger generation, or actually hindi naman sa age, lahat ng willing to learn can implement what you are teaching. Eh. So yun, lalo na mas duplicable what you did kung last year lang ka nag-start. Ibig sabihin, lahat kahit bago, kayang gawin yung ginawa mo. Yun. If you have, tenure and experience like me, parang mayroon ka nang i-share na value naman and content, sarili, ganun. So, pagtulungan natin ito together with the activation team, ganyan, kasi, I really appreciate you attending all the training and ngayon, nagiging isa ka na sa mga speakers. Thank you, Dianne.
Thank you po.
Yeah, thank you, DJ. And Dianne, so you've been officially recruited to the social media club. Meron ka ng, magkakaroon ka ng regular speaking stint. Diba? Ikaw na at aming SME in terms of social media prospecting and attraction. All right, so thank you. We have had honorings and questions from DJ and Othello. Meron ba from our academy attendees? May mga gustong matuto and be like Dianne soon. Anyone? Questions, comments, or just thank Dianne maybe? Yan, i-apply na natin yung mga natutunan natin. Engage. I-engage naman natin yung ating speaker. Meron po ba? Going once? Going twice? All right, so sige, I think people are speechless pa sa ngayon, or maybe they are absorbing pa everything that they have heard from Dianne this evening na, from the afternoon until the evening. So thank you for spending your time with us, Dianne. If not honoring, if not maybe we can do clap reactions please for Dianne, or heart reactions sa ating chat or sa ating Zoom plenary. Yan. So from Ron. Sir Richard says, thank you, Dianne. I like the IG branding, the Dianne Lagmay. Ayan. So follow her on Instagram. Miss Myra sent heart and clap reactions, diba? Partida na po yan, ha? Nasa cafe pa yan, but she really spent time for us. Sige, just keep on the chats and the affirmations coming. For me, I would just like to also honor and thank Dianne for spending time with us, giving her time, being generous. And sana yung practice mong I do ay maging hindi na siya practice. Mangyari talaga siya in real life. Baka follower mo na siya sa iyong IG. But on a more serious note, I would like to thank you for sharing and being generous with your not just your time but your talents also, and I'm sure your treasure because you're probably using data right now. So, di ba? Thank you for reaching out and touching, also making a difference in the lives of your fellow advisors, especially the rookies. And you're a rookie din naman. So thank you very much for making an impact. And ayan, dahil nga dyan, naging na-recruit ka pa for the social media club. Ayan, and I would just like to read from the chat box. Edita says, thank you, Dianne, for sharing. And si Nicole says, thank you, amiga. And of course, DJ. Si Plantita Nicole. Yan, Nicole, Plantita Nicole, you're up next daw. Ayan, so from the amiga, magiging Plantita. Ayan, sige. So, anyone else would like to say something to Dianne? If wala na, can I just ask everyone to open their camera so that we can have a photo with our speaker this evening? Yan, and can I ask fellow activation team, si Argel, to take our photo? Ayan, mag-on lang po tayo. Ayan, Kelvin, si Miss Gina, ayan, si Miss Myra already on, si Israel. Si Ron is also there. Thank you. Yan, si DJ nag-on na rin. Si Israel. Israel, are you there? Si Argel. Ayan, ready now with this post. Dito daw shadow mo.
Yan, no, wala na. Ventriloquist ako eh. Okay, game.
Alright, sige. Ang ating number 1 post.
Number 1, smile and look at the camera. 3, 2, 1. Yon. Got it.
Alright, thank you. So sige, before we end our session this evening, maybe as a way na lang to honor Dianne, if you aside from saying thank you and of course yung mga heart reactions, maybe share kung ano sa mga ni-share ni Dianne this afternoon, this evening, ang i-apply ninyo right in the next 72 hours after we end this meeting. What are you going to apply agad-agad? Meron ba? Ako, I would just like to say na I really appreciated yung sabi nga niya, yung dapat nating project na persona is something that who we want to be also and who we want to attract. I think si JJT phrased it din here sa chat box. So what I'm going to do is to recently kasi ang nagiging ng pattern dun sa aking IG is ako isang IG hobby. So but maybe as a best practice, I will ask my wife how to utilize Instagram better dahil siya talaga yung ma-post and use the stories talaga. Siguro I'll start with sharing her stories about me so that I can also connect to her audience. Yan. Si Sir Richard says he will reactivate his IG. And then, ayan, Dianne, paturo daw siya sa'yo. Nicole says it's very helpful in sharing of Dianne kasi nagka-direction what kind of post yung pang newsfeed versus ano pa yung pang stories. Yes, that's also correct. Thank you also for making that distinction of Facebook para yung sala ninyo, kwentuhan with the titas and titas. Instagram is a party for the millennials and the Zoomers. And something that we do not talk about, but I'm glad that si Dianne also, kumbaga, pinahapyawan na niya dito. She says na, thank you for yung sa LinkedIn. If you want to be more professional, if you want to come out as someone who can be approached and a subject matter expert, you can also use LinkedIn. Yun. Anyone else? What are we going to apply right after we end this session? Si Nicole daw has maraming oo nga no moments. Oo nga no. Oo nga. Tapos nakita ko lang din, yan, Ron says, post likable contents. Yan. And di ba, to be likable, post something that you like also, because you will also attract the same kinds of people who have similar values, similar interests. And that way, it's easier to connect and engage with them. Anyone else? Yeah. If wala na, again, let's thank Dianne for this evening. And what the activation team would like to ask of you naman is whatever you learned from Dianne this session, this activity, this Wednesday afternoon to evening, sana po i-apply natin, not just in our IG, can also, if you're more comfortable with your Facebook, go ahead, use those techniques in Facebook. And what we pray for is that you will also attract the kinds of prospects that you would like to have as clients as well. And of course, ang wish namin para sa inyo ay tulad ni Dianne, sa mga timelines natin, sa mga comment section natin, nakalagay na that's my FA. So we will be endorsed by our very own clients. Ayan. So I think si Argel has something to share or some announcements.
Yan, related sa marketing stuff. Yan, merong Basics of Design and Marketing si Marketing Club sa Feb 26, 10 a.m. So join kayo dyan if you want to learn the basics of design and marketing. So medyo related din sa topic to ngayon. Yun lang.
All right, so thank you, Arja. JJT, any other announcements?
Nag-out yata siya.
Oo nga, nag-out nga siya. Ayan, so ayan, for those of you, ayan, tama si Arja, it's a great connection to what we learned today. And of course, if you want to have designs also similar to what Dianne posts, ayan, the marketing team has a learning session this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Ayan. Okay. With that, again, the activation team would like to thank Dianne for this evening. And we hope na nagkaroon ka pa ng more ways to be able to be an influencer and an SME here, not just in Starbright, but sana makatulong yung ginawa mo today to make your social media presence even better and to be able to connect to more people. And to everyone who attended this evening, maraming salamat, and we look forward to seeing you. Wait, let me just end the recording.